Happy Monday, everybody. We believe in Happy Mondays around here because it beats working for a living. It's the 9th day of July, 2018. Wake Up Wenatchee Valley is on the air for another work week. I am Dan Kuntz, your host. Steve Hare, our news director, to my immediate left. Kat, as usual, in control, ready to tackle another week of television entertainment, television fun, television information, courtesy of this guy. And a happy Monday to you.
You too, Dan.
Yeah.
How was your weekend?
Good. Quiet. Another quiet weekend. The weekends have been quiet. I've been golfing, and that's really about it.
Had a nice, quiet weekend.
Good.
All weekend, of course, scanning the skies for smoke columns and plumes, but luckily, none.
Pretty quiet,
this weekend. It's
actually.
really quiet. In
Yeah.
fact, things are really looking good up at the Camas Fire that we'll report on coming up here in a few minutes.
That's good. We like that.
Yeah.
If you live in the Spokane area and in the southern part of the state, Yakima, Tri-Cities, you're going to see some smoky skies today. That's not the Little Camas Fire. Those are fires down in Oregon and California that are kind of the weather system is bringing that smoke up and into that area. We're not going to see any smoke from those fires at all today, but could see some residual smoke from the Little Camas Fire. That's, of course, our lead story today. Good-looking weather forecast. Hot. Going to be hot. First real stretch of hot weather this entire summer. Those details are coming up. We got sports. Good night for the Mariners, not so much for the Apple Sox. We'll talk, of course, about the Mariner All-Star selections. We've already talked about that. You're not happy that the Big Maple didn't make it.
Well, at least not on the initial pick, but I guess the coaches also have their picks, though, too.
No, they don't anymore. They took that away from them. No, it's Major League Baseball now has that.
Oh, okay.
So they can avoid conflict of interest. Does that make sense? You know, if you're the manager of the American League All-Stars and the player says, I simply can't play, and it's up to the manager, he goes, I think I'll put Bobby Smith, my starting pitcher, on the roster. They took that away from them, so now it's all Major League Baseball. And the coaches have input, and the players have input.
There are always some that get left out that should not be.
It's the way it is every year.
James Paxton.
So you can vote for Gene Segura, by the way. They still had the last fan vote. It's called The Last Man In. And you can go to Major League Baseball's website, and there's 5 from the American League and 5 from the National League. And they're the last ones selected by the fans. And Gene Segura, who should be on the All-Star roster, is one of those final 5, so you can vote for them. As far as the Big Maple's concerned, somebody is going to say to the American League folks, hey, I can't, you know, thank you for, he still gets the All-Star nod, whoever this person may be, but I simply cannot pitch a week from tomorrow in Washington, D.C., and then they can just add another pitcher to the roster, and I think Big Maple will make it that way.
And for that matter, I think he'd appreciate the days off.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if truth be told, if you talk to some of the players, I think they'd prefer to have the time off.
Oh, yeah, I would too. Yeah. So we'll talk about...
Who are you picking in the Home Run Derby this year?
Home Run Derby has kind of lost its luster. It's kind of like the Major League Baseball, kind of like the NBA slam dunk competition. I don't care. What I'm worried about is that these guys are just trying to crush the ball, and one of them is going to limp off with a pulled groin or a bad back, and then, you know, there goes the pennant race.
It's kind of hoping they bring in Ichiro, but, you know.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. I think you have to be on the active roster for that to happen. Nelson Cruz will not be participating in the All-Star game, but he did make it as a DH, and that's good news there. Was a perfect example. Aaron Judge, who won the Home Run Derby last year, is not going to participate this year.
Not good. Oh.
Yeah, again, because you run the risk of injury.
That's true.
You know, and that's on an exhibition game or something like that. You know, you don't want to do that. So sports, we have the obscure holiday today in history. Birthdays, everyone is entitled to Mike Venotti's opinion. Last Friday, you had a chance to talk to Buck Toppling.
That's right.
Who's one of the 2 candidates vying to replace Steve Jenkins on the Douglas County Board of Commissioners. Steve is hanging up the spurs at the end of the year, and Buck is taking on Mark Straub in the November general election. That conversation with Steve and Buck will be coming up in the second half of the program. Have we touched all the bases? Are you ready to go?
I think so. Let's
go around North Central Washington with our Valley View cameras, courtesy of Localtel's Sky-Fi high-speed wireless network, and of course, leading off, beautiful Wenatchee Valley itself on a Monday morning. By the way, Steve, heads up for the first time this summer. Sunset's now before 9. 8:58 is now sunset. So days are getting shorter, but it's almost imperceptible. Still get 15 and a half hours of daylight a day.
Woke up this morning, it was 70 degrees at 4 o'clock.
64 right now. We'll be climbing the ladder, by the way, to a high of about 91 today, but it's going to get hotter before it gets cooler. Details are coming up. Now, Kat says, since she is in control, let's go pay a visit to the Fisherman right below Rocky Reach Dam. That camera's sticking out on the abutment of Omi Gardens, and you can see the fishermen down there, Steve.
Yeah, that's right.
That's where they're biting right there.
Hoping to get lucky.
Yeah. I was explaining to Kat, they go out there, of course, you can start fishing at sunrise, and they're out there. You know, they've launched and they've put their boats up to just below Rocky Reach Dam. And then everybody starts looking at everybody else, see who's getting bites, who's getting snags, who's getting
they're
fish.
right there near the fish ladder. That's what.
Then they all go over there and they go, okay, Jerry's got a bunch, so let's go see Jerry. Then they all crowd around with each other and say, how you doing? What's biting? So they're out there fishing. There's a big difference I discovered between fishing and catching fish. That's two entirely different things.
There's a couple of cars heading up 97A towards Knaps Hill Tunnel. Huh?
There you go. So that is our look at Rocky Reach Dam. Camera number 3.
Which camera is that from?
That's the Olney Garden camera.
That's the Olney Garden?
And that's got to be the Waterville camera pointed up the river. Is that correct? Yep, there you go. So the orchards are hanging out there. Things are looking good. That would be Aniat. Just a sliver of it you can see.
The
Gateway to Recreation.
Sun Cove, isn't it?
Yeah, in the lower left-hand corner is Aniat. Sun Cove is out there as well. Beautiful. Look at that. And it's one of those scenes that the Columbia River looks like a lake, not a river. But trust me, it's flowing.
A mirror.
And camera number 4, we do a slow dissolve and we say hello to, that looks like Manson to me. That's got to be the Manson camera. That's a pretty shot, isn't it?
Wow.
Look at those orchards. Oh, she's going to move it too.
Hey.
Whoa. Steve, buckle up. Is your tray in the upright position, Steve? Oh, that's cool. We haven't done this in a long time. She's actually moving the camera to take a look at the Manson Valley.
Wow, that's beautiful.
That's a neat, we got to do that more often. There's Lake Chelan. That's gorgeous. That's cool. Good job, Kat. Moving the camera.
Don't see any paragliders up there yet.
No. Well, they need wind, I believe, and they'll have some wind tonight and tomorrow, but not so much today. They like the wind, and they like they get the warm air that comes up from the lake, and it kind of makes them go up high and high and high, and then they drift around. We were up in vacation in Mazama a couple of years ago, and they jump off from up near the fire lookout, and they float down to, and they're usually like 25 of them at any one time out there. It's good for them. You'll never catch me doing that. From the National Weather Service, here's your forecast. Sunshine today and hot. High today of about 91 degrees. We hit 88 yesterday. As far as wind today, not much, but it's going to pick up in intensity tonight. Cloudy skies tonight. A cold front is going to slide in. We'll get down to 66 degrees, which is still pretty mild. Wind will be picking up. Breezy, northwest wind in the Wenatchee Valley from 11 to 18 miles an hour. And then pretty consistent, about 15 miles an hour all day Tuesday as that cold front really makes its presence felt. So we go from 91 to 83. Again, breezy tonight, breezy on Tuesday. The cold front exits the area on Tuesday night, chilly, 58 for the overnight low. And then when the warm-up begins, 90 on Wednesday, 97 Thursday, 95 on Friday, slightly cooler for the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. And again, as far as the wind is concerned, no real wind at all today. A little breezy tonight. Windy, I would say, tomorrow, northwest wind about 15 miles an hour. Consistent all day Tuesday, and a cooler with a high of 83 degrees. Typical mid-July weather. Yeah, I guess the 9th, we can call it mid-July safely, can't we?
Oh, yeah.
So, 8.5 minutes after the hour on this Monday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Steve Hare has the news, and the news is brought to you by our friends at Cascade Medical Center. Trey with a physical therapist who loves the outdoors as much as you do. Cascade Medical, partners in your health.
The physical therapists at Cascade Medical love the outdoors as much as you do. But sometimes where there's love, there's also pain. Let us help you get back to the activities that you love. Cascade Medical, partners in your health.
What's your auto mocha emergency?
It's a Frappuccino mocha with whip.
The espresso shakes are my most favorite because I can get any flavor. Peanut butter chocolate Frappuccino.
Definitely the espresso shakes.
My favorite is the mocha Frappitas.
A peach Red Bull.
And now it's time for your local news update with Steve Hare.
Good morning and welcome to our Monday news. Here's what's happening around north central Washington. First of all, tragedy on the Wenatchee River. An autopsy planned for later this week will determine the cause of death of a young Kashmir man whose body was discovered along the Wenatchee riverbank Friday afternoon. Chelan County Coroner Wayne Harris positively identified the body of 19-year-old Sheldon S. House Jr. of Kashmir. He went missing back in May and had been the subject of a search. In a news release issued Friday afternoon, Sheriff Brian Burnett reported that House's body was recovered after a rafter spotted it near the 4700 block of Old Monitor Road along the riverbank. Deputies arrived in the area and located the body in the river about 15 to 20 feet from shore, snagged on submerged logs. The body was recovered and then turned over to the Chelan County coroner. Again, an autopsy is planned for Wednesday to determine the cause of death. Also, fire crews are making good progress as milder weather conditions helped containment efforts on the Little Camas fire in Chelan County over the weekend. Managers say the fire is now 35% contained as an army of firefighters from the U.S. Forest Service and DNR overcome steep rocky terrain in the mountains about 6 miles southwest of Kashmir. It's been a busy weekend for the 344 firefighters who've made the Chelan County Fairgrounds their temporary home since that blaze was first reported Thursday afternoon. Here's some shots we took of the base camp at the fairgrounds on Friday. Of course, there are a lot more tents there now. The fire is burning in mostly logging, slash, brush, and timber stands on Weyerhaeuser land in the Sand Creek and Mission Creek drainages. Now, the area burned has been downsized now to about 330 acres due to better mapping. No structures are threatened. The Camas Meadows Bible Camp and a few homes located about 2 miles from the fire remain under a level 1 evacuation. Today's weather, by the way, is expected to be nearly a repeat of Sunday's, with temperatures bumping up a few degrees and relative humidity getting closer to 20%. During the evening and overnight hours, a dry cold front expected to pass over our fire area, bringing winds at about 25-mile-an-hour gusts persisting through tomorrow's late afternoon. The same winds proved challenging for control efforts on the eastern flank a few days ago on the fire. More hot and dry conditions are expected later in the week. Also, 4 people were injured in Chelan last Thursday evening when an out-of-control SUV struck a group of people in a lakeside patio area off Wooden Avenue before that vehicle hurtled off an embankment and flipped over into a neighboring parking lot. In fact, here's a photo that was shared with us by Lake Chelan Now. The Chelan County Sheriff's Office issued a news release describing what happened. Officials say the cause of the accident could be medically related. Sheriff Brian Burnett says witnesses at the scene said the driver of a white SUV turned into the driveway at West Wooden Avenue and then drove at a high rate of speed through the patio area of the business and then struck 3 pedestrians who were in that patio area. The vehicle continued to speed, driving over the embankment across the top of an unoccupied parked vehicle. It flipped over and then came to rest upside down against a parked vehicle there. All the vehicles were totaled. The woman who was driving that vehicle had to be extricated, and she was sent to Harborview Hospital. Her condition is unknown at this time. Also, a rabid bat was found in a downtown Wenatchee parking lot, and that's prompted a public risk warning by the Chelan-Douglas Health District. Now, the district issued a news release Friday reporting the discovery of the diseased bat in the Morris Building parking lot at 23 South Wenatchee Avenue. Wenatchee Valley Animal Control delivered it to the health district, who turned it over to the Washington State lab for testing. It's reported that the Morris Building parking lot and its stairwell is often used by employees of that building. It's unknown if anyone or any pet came in touch with the rabid bat. Touching the diseased rat or bat without gloves may expose a person or pet to rabies. Chelan-Douglas Health District asks that you contact your local health jurisdiction if you or someone you know or any of your pets touch the bat. For any Chelan-Douglas encounters, a bat should be evaluated by a medical professional for risk of rabies. If bitten, the medical provider should immediately report the bat bite to Chelan-Douglas Health District or your local health provider. Please remember to never touch live or dead wild animals, especially bats. Keep all pets updated on their vaccinations as required by our state law, and you can contact your veterinarian if you believe your pet has come in contact with a diseased bat. But again, it's the 4th rabid bat that's been found in the Chelan County area this year. Well, a Mansfield wheat farmer is a candidate for an open seat on the Douglas County Board of Commissioners. Norman Buck Tupling is a lifelong resident of Mansfield, says he's best qualified to represent the residents who live and work in the mostly rural areas of District 3. You're elected?
Well, one of the things I can just say is that I bring a unique aspect to the commissioners. You know, we have two, well, Steve is retiring, and so we have two others, Kyle and Dan, on there. And I feel like I can really contribute to them and to our county with just having a knowledge of the county. Having been here my entire life, I know the county, I know my district really well. And so I can bring that to the table for them. You know, maybe there might be a certain area that they're kind of maybe lacking in or knowing, and I can bring that and help them to understand some of the needs of our area too.
Tupling's in a two-horse race for that open seat that was vacated by Commissioner Steve Jenkins. His opponent is fellow Republican Mark Straub. In fact, we have Tupling's interview for you coming up in the second half of our program today. And of course, it's been posted to our website at ncwlife.com. Lake Chelan playing host to the 2018 U.S. Open and Canadian National Paragliding Championships. In fact, here's some video footage of the event shared by Lake Chelan Dow as they can be seen sailing around the skies above Chelan over the weekend. 131 pilots were registered to compete in that event, which runs through the 14th. The paragliders take off from Chelan Butte, and then they land at Chelan Falls Park Soccer Field. That event, by the way, is a pre-World Cup qualifier. So look up in the sky, and you'll probably see them flying around today.
I wonder how they score that in competition. Is it how long you stay up?
Well, I think they have different categories.
Okay.
And I think yesterday's, or the shot that you saw there, they were doing their long distance trials.
Okay.
So they'll go out across the river and then back and around.
Yeah, I don't know how they score. That's kind of interesting. Yeah. You think the idea is if you do this for recreation, you want to be up in the air as long as possible. You know, pack a lunch and kind of cruise.
A few years ago, my wife and I were in Bavaria, and we were watching them take off in the Alps, the tops of those Alps. And that's just absolutely amazing.
Yeah. How do they get there? I wonder. That's
they've got oh gosh, a
ski
whole
lifts
network
and
of
things
gondolas, you know, and ski lifts and that type of thing. It takes
more power to them.
Yeah,
they're nuts.
Crazy.
Big construction project is going to be taking place for most of this month on one of the most heavily traveled stretches of roadway in the Wenatchee Valley. It will start today. It's going to be in the overnight hours. That's the good news, from 9 o'clock in the evening till 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm talking about Miller between Mission and Wenatchee Avenue. Very heavily traveled. That's where Applebee's is, and Taco Bell, and the mall, and all of the Harley Center. That stretch right there, it's about 550 feet, 600 feet. We're talking Miller between Mission to Wenatchee Avenue. The storm drain pipe is going bad, and since they're heading that way anyway with the big repaving project that's going on in Mission all summer long, they're going to go ahead and replace that storm drain pipe. 9 o'clock in the evening until 7 o'clock in the morning, the two northbound lanes of Miller will be diverted to the southbound lanes, the lanes that are closest to Albertsons and closest to Applebee's. So that's how that's going to work, and it's going to make access in and out difficult, to say the least. It starts at 9 o'clock tonight and will go, according to the City of Wenatchee, for most of the rest of this month. So
the only thing we have to report right now is low congestion on the Senator George Seller Bridge. There's a huge head there that's causing some congestion.
They're driving right through your ears,
right through
Steve.
my ears right now.
Thank God there's lots of room. Oh my. The news with Grant Olson.
Nothing to obstruct
nothing,
the flow
yeah,
of traffic to my head.
The news with Grant Olson comes your way at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. Those are your three chances to watch it on TV. You can also watch our nightly newscast on our website via the stream at ncwlife.com. You can also watch it on demand at ncwlife.com late in the afternoon. Also on our Facebook page.
Where else?
Trying to think of all the... Or you can come to the studio and watch it live. No, that would be weird. Get a hold of us.
I'm going to give you the honor.
What's that?
What's our hotline phone number?
Our hotline phone number is right there at the bottom of your screen. I can't read it. 888-6295. Yes, 888-NCWL, 888-6295. There you go. You can also email us directly at news@ncwlife.com. Go to our Facebook page and write us a Facebook message. We'll get it. Go to our website and you'll see the Contact Us tab at the top of the website. 2 different ways to do that. You can simply contact us, or there's also something that says submit a news tip.
That's right.
You can do that as well. Is that all the ways? Oh, our Twitter handle. What else? Did I get everything?
Facebook.
Facebook? Yeah, I think we got
Absolutely.
it all. So there you go. 20 minutes after the hour.
Or just pound on the door and say, hey,
yeah, just hang on, pound on the door. Where's that Koontz at? He won't answer the subpoena. 20 minutes after the hour. Sunshine 65. What?
I don't know if we should share this news about Eric.
We'll wait. We'll let Eric do it.
Let him do it himself?
We'll let Eric do it.
Okay.
We'll let Eric. He'll be back tomorrow. He'll be back tomorrow.
Happy news for Eric, though.
Yeah, it's a pretty exciting news around here.
Yeah.
So we'll
let him do the.
We'll let him. We probably should. That's be the right thing to do. We're going to take a break. When we come back, sports. Good Sunday for the Mariners, and not so much for the Apple Sox. Sports is coming up, plus the obscure holiday today in history, birthdays. Everyone is entitled to Mike McKnight's opinion, and Steve's interview with Buck Tupling, who is running for Douglas County Commissioner District 3. All of that between now and 8 o'clock. You're watching a Monday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCW Life channel.
I'm Eric Grandstrom with NCW Life Sports.
I'm NCW Life News Director Steve Hare.
Catch us on Local Tel Channel 12.
You can watch us on Charter Channel 19 or stream us live on ncwlife.com.
Follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook.
Where we cover the local high schools, the Wenatchee Wild, and the pro teams out of Seattle.
On Saturday, we have a 90% chance of rain.
Catch it all right here on the NCW Life channel.
Sign up for the 7th Annual CCA Wenatchee Salmon Derby, July 20th through the 21st. With $7,400 in cash and prizes, this is the local event you can't afford to miss. Fish the Columbia River from the top of Rock Island Dam to the bottom of Wells Dam for your chance to win up to 5 place prizes for the heaviest fish and heaviest boat weight. Buy your tickets online, Hooked on Toys, or Sportsman's Warehouse. Help support our region's marine resources. Fish the Wenatchee Salmon Derby.
And we are back at 22 minutes after the hour. Let's do sports on this Monday. So Ryan Healy, it's the bottom of the first. The bases are loaded. There's 2 outs. He's 0 for 13. He's in a slump. And Mr. Healy breaks through in a big way. Healy doubled to drive in a couple of runs, followed it up with an even bigger at-bat with a 3-run homer in the 7th that tied his career high with 5 RBIs in a single game. He accounted for 5 of the Mariners' 6 runs. And the Mariners knock off the Rockies 6-4 on Sunday at the safe. Let's see here. Healy's homer, 18th of the season for him, helped the Mariners bounce back. Of course, they dropped their first 2 games of the series. Wade LeBlanc picked up the win despite giving up 4 runs and allowing 3 homers to let the Rockies in 6 innings. The 3 homers allowed were the most by LeBlanc in an appearance this season. The homers, by the way, for the Rockies, Charlie Blackmon, Carlos Gonzalez, and Trevor Story hit the homers. Edwin Diaz struck out all 3 batters he faced in the 9th. That's his major league leading 35th save. Yes, he's on the All-Star team. Blackmon gave the Rockies a 1-0 lead in the top of the first with the 17th home run. Mariners answered at the bottom of the inning. They load the bases. Kyle Seager had a sacrifice fly, and then Healy's double that I already mentioned. Gonzalez led off the 5th inning with his 8th homer for Colorado. Story gave the Rockies a 4-3 lead in the top of the 6th with a 2-run shot, his 17th. But in the bottom of the inning, Nelson Cruz walked. Kyle Seager with a base hit. 1 out later, Healy homered to left field, and that was the scoring. Mariners bullpen perfect, by the way, on Sunday. Next up for the Mariners, they have the day off today. Then they're on the road. They'll be in Anaheim to take on the Angels. Mike Leake will toe the river. And as we mentioned at the top of the hour, 3 All-Stars, Edwin Diaz, Mitch Haniger, and Nelson Cruz named to the All-Star game. All of them as reserves. Gene Segura is one of the 5 members of the American League squad, part of the Last Man In campaign. You can vote for Gene Segura by going to Major League Baseball's website. Apple Sox, Curtis Baffus turned in a good quality start, his 3rd of the season, but it wasn't enough. Apple Sox bats pretty quiet last night down at Walla Walla, 2-0. The final, Baffus allowed just 2 runs, 1 earned over 7 innings, struck out 3, but unfortunately he suffered the loss. The Sweets scored their runs in the 1st and 3rd innings to pick up the series victory. They took 4 of 6 from the Apple Sox this year. The Apple Sox and the Sweets won't play each other for the rest of the year. Defensively, the Sox made several impressive defensive plays to further thwart Walla Walla scoring chances, but again, it wasn't enough. Bats pretty quiet. The Sox wrap up the first half. They wrapped up the first half with Sunday's game. So the second half play begins Tuesday. They got 6 games against the North Division first half champions, the Bellingham Bells, 6 in a row. First 3 will be at Paul Thomas Senior Stadium starting Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in Bellingham. And that's sports at 25 minutes after the hour. July 9th, Obscura holiday. Today is Sugar Cookie Day. Sugar cookies, warm and delicious. And they're easy to make. The ingredients, pretty basic: flour, eggs, butter, sugar, and then whatever flavor you want. Most people prefer vanilla. And of course, the nice thing about sugar cookies is you can decorate them. They're easy to make, and then you can make little smiley faces or do whatever you want to with sugar cookies. I associate sugar cookies with Christmas. There always seems to be a bunch hanging around. So enjoy a nice treat with a sugar cookie. Cookies, National Sugar Cookie Day, 26 minutes after the hour. Today in history, maybe the first pregame pep talk of all time belongs to George Washington. July 9th, 1776, George Washington orders that the Declaration of Independence be read out loud to the members of the Continental Army. They were hanging around Lower Manhattan, getting ready to take on the British. The Battle of Long Island was about ready to be fought. So in Manhattan Island, the Declaration of Independence was read out loud to the massed troops to say, we're in. We did this a couple of days ago. The British were on Staten Island, ready to take them on. So it was the first battle after the Declaration of Independence was adopted. The next month they did it. The Battle of Long Island was fought, and it ended in an overwhelming victory for the British. So maybe the pep talk didn't work, but we won the war, and that was the key part. That happened on this date 242 years ago. Today is the centennial, the 100th anniversary of the deadliest rail accident in United States history in Nashville, Tennessee, July 9th, 1918. 100 years ago today, an inbound local train collided with an outbound express train. 101 were killed, 171 people were injured, making it the deadliest rail accident in the United States history. Happened on this date 100 years ago today. Yeah. And July 9th, 1956, 62 years ago today, Bill Haley and his Comets were denied permission to play at a Roosevelt Stadium in Jersey City, New Jersey, after the city council passed an ordinance. And I'm going to quote from the ordinance. Rock and roll music encourages juvenile delinquency and inspires young females in lewd bathing suits to perform obscene dances on the beaches of our fine city. It's these kids today. They got over it. 28 minutes after the hour. Birthdays, let's see, Splash, Big, A League of Their Own, Sleepless in Seattle, Apollo 13, The Green Mile, Castaway, Saving Private Ryan, The Terminal, The Post, which is a great movie, of course, Philadelphia, and Forrest Gump, of which you both won Academy Awards. I'm talking about Tom Hanks. He is 62 years old today. He's living the good life, isn't he? He's got 2 Academy Awards, won them back-to-back, as a matter of fact. 4 Golden Globes, 8 Emmy Awards, a Presidential Medal of Freedom. Tom Hanks is 62 years old today. Life is like a box of chocolates for Tom Hanks. And speaking of Hollywood folks, Fred Savage, we all know him as Kevin Arnold from the Wonder Years. This will make you feel old. Fred Savage is 42 years old today. Now he directs. He dabbles in acting just a little bit. But if there is a show on television that you watch, the odds are pretty good that Fred Savage has directed at least a couple of episodes. He's made that transition from acting to directing and has done it very, very well. Fred Savage. Kevin Arnold is 42 years old today. Yee, I'm getting old. 29 minutes after the hour, going to take a break. When we come back, everybody is entitled to Mike Magnotti's opinion. And then Steve's interview with Buck Toppling. Norman Buck Toppling, of course, is running for Douglas County Commissioner in the District 3 seat. He's running against Mark Straub coming up this November. And Steve's interview with Mr. Toppling will be coming up as well. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley live this morning from Studio 9 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Life channel.
The Arbiter of Stoke is a series that highlights a variety of outdoor adventure sports that are available in the Pacific Northwest. I dedicate my time to enjoying this natural playground. The decision is yours. How will you keep your Stoke?
I have a doctor who knows what they're talking about.
It's just so much more hands-on and friendly than anywhere else I've ever been.
It's really great to walk into somewhere where you feel welcomed and you feel accepted.
We've just been grateful for the care and respect that we've been given there.
And here when I come to visit my doctor, I'm not afraid to ask questions.
It's not just about getting you in and out.
I love my care at CVCH. It's awesome. Give it a try.
Hi everyone, Brent. Hey, don't mind, we're just making a commercial here, Randall. You're okay. Hi everyone, Brent here. You're gonna love this. When you see this, come down and see us behind Nissan. I can do it. I can do it. The all-new 2018 Nissan. That's done, I'm done. We can't do it. Come down and see us at Town Nissan behind Costco in East Wenatchee. Better performance, better.
This is the NCW Life Community Calendar brought to you by LocalTel. Pineapple Mayhem is Saturday, July 14th from 7 to 9:30 p.m. at Calvary Crossroads Church. This free event for middle and high schoolers features games, activities, karaoke, snacks, and more. Come check out the new location for the Lighthouse at their open house Sunday, July 15th from 10 to 2. This will be home for the Ministry Soup Kitchen, Clinic, Food Distribution Center, offices, and worship facility. For more information, visit ncwlife.com.
Oh, hey, Nate. What you doing there?
I'm just reading a book.
A book? I didn't even know they made those anymore. Where'd you get it?
Right down the street at Yield Bookshop.
Yield Bookshop? I'm gonna go check it out.
If you're looking for a good book to read or you're in the market for some beautiful handcrafted creations from local artisans, look no further than Yield Bookshop right in the heart of downtown Wenatchee.
Hey there, Wenatchee. I'm Sean Lee, and I'm inviting you to come down and check out what we're all about at Badger Mountain Brewing.
Great beer, good food, and an endless source of entertainment for the whole family. Our Honey Blonde beer is flying off the shelves at your local grocery store. But I tell you what, it's even better on tap. And while you're here, try our signature Badger sauce with one of our delicious meals. Whether you're in the mood for a wrap, salad, pizza, or nachos, Badger Mountain Brewing has what you're looking for.
Hey, this is Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, many Christians today share the perception that society is deteriorating, and that's evidence that we are in the end times. Well, I don't deny some nasty stuff is going on nowadays, but I do feel a lot of this deterioration is just the natural progression of human nature, which has always been problematic. Now, I contend that in many ways, society is improving. Now, not perfect yet by any means, but improving. For example, recognition of our need to acknowledge and stand up against domestic abuse and domestic violence. Our acknowledgement and willing to deal with the abuse of our children. Our increased recognition of and the respect for the rights of the disenfranchised. Also, an improvement is an increased recognition of the respect of women's rights and their role in our society. And like them or not, the fact that this country matured enough to elect a black man for president. Now maybe, just maybe in some ways, we're moving in the right direction. Now, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
Vamanos junk haulers are pleased to announce they've added moving services to their list of ways to make your life easier. Vamanos Moving Service. No move is too big or small. In fact, Vamanos does it all. Vamanos employees are experienced at moving your home, office, business, and storage. They'll carefully load and unload your belongings. And for the do-it-yourselfers, Vamanos also rents trucks and cargo trailers. Call Vamanos Junk Haulers and Moving Service today to schedule your free estimate.
We're here to celebrate every season with award-winning dining, full-service spa, and 170 waterfront guest rooms. Come experience our tradition of hospitality at Campbell's Resort on Lake Chelan.
This is the NCW Life Community Calendar brought to you by Local Tel. The Lake Chelan Boating Club Poker Run is Friday, July 13th to Sunday, July 15th. The Poker Run happens on Saturday with dinner and prizes awarded. Stage Kids Washington presents Disney's Mulan Jr. Friday and Saturday at the Numerica Performing Arts Center. Get your tickets online at numericapac.org. For more information and other community events, visit ncwlife.com.
When you call Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning, you get 35 years of experience and customer service in the Wenatchee Valley. Dick's friendly staff strongly believe in repairing before replacing and service all major brands of HVAC units. Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning is your local, independent, trained comfort specialists, proudly serving all of North Central Washington. Call 884-6444 today.
Steve Hare with NCW Life. We have Norm Tupling joining us right now. Norm is a Mansfield resident who's now a candidate running for a seat on the Douglas County Commission to represent District 3. Norm, thanks for joining us here.
Thanks for having me.
Well, let's talk about your campaign and a little bit about yourself. And again, you're a Mansfield native, so
that's correct.
Small town boy?
Yes.
Okay.
Very small.
So let's talk about that life in Mansfield and basically why you've decided to run.
So the reason that I'm decided to run is because of our district. It's a unique district. It's very rural. The most of it, you know, some of it includes a little bit of East Wenatchee. And I just feel that we need representation for up there for that part of the district, that part of the county.
Do you feel it's lacking in representation right now?
You know, with Steve Jenkins on there, he's been a pretty good representation for that end. But I feel like if we don't have someone from up in that area that's familiar with the area, familiar with the needs, and familiar with the people, then it can become a lacking deal, yes.
What kind of issues are really driving your campaign, especially as it relates to District 3? What kind of issues are they facing right now?
So one of the issues is road maintenance. As you know, we have a lot of rural roads. And for us in that area, it's an important thing because that's the infrastructure for our economy up there. It's agriculture, and we need good infrastructure to ship our product.
It occurs to me that the last major capital project that occurred out there was the replacement of the Chief Joe Bridge in Bridgeport, correct?
Yeah, the one that goes up towards Pearl Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a major project. Boy, they underwent a big one there.
Yeah.
And it was an important one because we have a lot of grain that comes off of that hill. So there you go again. It's a big deal for us.
Well, Douglas County is kind of an interesting situation, dynamic there, especially as you look at how the county is structured. It's a large county, but a lot of the issues, I think, are kind of concentrated in that East Wenatchee area. A lot of that's where the population core of the county is, and certainly there are issues that need to be addressed in mostly that northern county area that you want to represent.
We do, and one of them, like I said, is the road maintenance because we need it. We rely on it for our livelihood up there. And then the other I am concerned with is our school safety. And I think that touches the whole county, not just the rural, but our small schools. Our Sheriff's Department offers a program for active shooter training to come into the schools and train them and teach them and educate them on some of this stuff. And I think it's important that our schools get on board with it.
How do you think the County Board of Commissioners can work closer with the school to do that?
Just reaching out to them, I think, and expressing the importance of the training and how, you know, yeah, we live in a rural area and our schools are small, but we can't have our heads in the sand, per se. You know, we need to be thinking about it because it can happen anywhere. We don't want it to, but it can.
Okay. How long have you been farming wheat up in the Mansfield area?
So I started, I worked for Douglas County PUD as a journeyman lineman, and then in 2012, I quit the PUD to start farming full-time. And it's been fun. It's been interesting and fun at the same time.
Well, you're in the thick of things right now with the world situation wheat growers, I'm sure, are also have a little trepidation about what's occurring worldwide with this trade war.
We do. 90%, give or take, of our product is shipped overseas. So trade is a big deal for us.
Yeah, obviously, but eat into your bottom line. Let's talk about some other issues that are pertinent, of course, to Douglas County residents, affordable housing being one of them. Are you well-versed on that issue?
Well, I'm not an expert on it by any means, but we do need affordable housing because we need housing available to the people that are working in the county. And as our county grows, we want to provide jobs. Well, if we provide jobs, we got to have a place to put the people to live. And if they can't afford it, there's a problem. And so somehow we've got to find some balance there with the cost of the housing, because you have a property, say you have a property owner, well, he owns a property and somebody comes along, offers him an extreme amount of money for it. You can't fault the property owner. He owns it.
That's right.
And so it's, his choice to do what he wishes with it, but at the same time, we got to find some kind of balance to get some affordable housing for people.
Of course, there's a lot of land, a lot of rural land out in that 3rd District of Douglas County, and certainly it's an area that could be developed, certainly. We have a Growth Management Act that the state enforces. Does that cause any problems for your district? I know that there are times when people like to sell off their land for development, but there are some constraints there. How does that affect your guys?
There are, because of the way it's zoned, and zoning it helps the agriculture industry. It helps keep taxes down. Well, it helps everybody. I mean, it helps with taxes and stuff, and it helps our agriculture community with having it zoned that way. So it's, but there again, it's kind of a tricky issue, because as a property owner myself, I mean, if I own the property, I should have the choice to do what I want with it. I shouldn't have somebody telling me, no, you can or you can't do. I mean, the whole idea is you own the property. Not the government shouldn't be telling you what you can and can't do with it. You know?
So basically, those private property rights issues are at play there.
Yes, very much. Yeah.
Anything else you'd like to talk about in terms of what you see as important priorities for you if you're elected?
Well, one of the things I can just say is that I bring a unique aspect to the commissioners. We have two, well, Steve is retiring, and so we have two others, Kyle and Dan, on there. And I feel like I can really contribute to them and to our county with just having a knowledge of the county. Having been here my entire life, I know the county, I know my district really well. And so I can bring that to the table for them. Maybe there might be a certain area that they're kind of maybe lacking in or knowing, and I can bring that and help them to understand some of the needs of our area too.
Tell us a little bit about your family.
So I have a wife and a daughter. We got married in 2005, and we have a 7.5-year-old daughter, and she currently goes to school in Mansfield, same place I did. And they love our county too. And so I would like to, if I can contribute and serve and give back to the county that's given to me, then I'm doing good.
Well, fantastic. Well, we wish you the best of luck in your endeavors here. Again, we've been talking with Norm Buck Tougling. A great nickname, by the way.
Thank you.
And he's seeking your vote as Commissioner of Douglas County District 3. Thanks for joining us here on NCW Life. I'm Steve Hare.
Boating is a great way to bring family and friends together. At Bob File Boats and Motors, they have the boats for any lifestyle: fishing, wakeboarding, or just relaxing on the water. Buying a new boat is more affordable than you might think at Bob File Boats and Motors. Online at bobfile.com or on Sunset Highway in East Wenatchee.
Bob File Boats and Motors, we're dealing. Bob File's gonna make you smile.
I'm Jenny Rojanasatian, and this is Guada TV. Every week we will be bringing you a first look at North Central Washington business, tech, and education news. You'll hear from local influencers and innovators who live right here in the Valley. Together, we'll discuss hot topics, current events, and resources that can support your business, our schools, and this community. Join me every week and let's get inspired.
Looking for a hands-on, high-demand job? Now is the perfect time to get trained for a career in manufacturing. Washington currently has a shortage of skilled tradespeople, and retirements are making room for more. The machining program at Wenatchee Valley College is designed to give students the foundation to excel in this precision industry. Don't wait, there are only 15 spots left. A 2-year degree and a 1-year certificate are available. Learn more at wvc.edu/machining.
Did you know that our pets can put on extra weight just like us? Obesity is the most common preventable disease in dogs and cats. Your pet's excess weight can lead to health issues like joint pain, arthritis, diabetes, high blood pressure, and more. Dr. Shauna Baez and the staff at Paws and Claws Veterinarian Hospital care about your pets, and they can help you keep them lean and healthy. Call Paws and Claws today at 888-PAWS or find them on the corner of 4th and Isle in East Wenatchee.
Got about 14 minutes left on this Monday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Dan Kuntz alongside Steve Hare. Tomorrow on this program, a couple of my friends who are no strangers to this show from the Lighthouse will be here. Bart Tilley, who's on the board of directors, and Sean Arrington, who runs the day-to-day operations. They're getting closer and closer and closer to their anticipated move-in to their brand new headquarters. They'll be able to consolidate all the good things that the Lighthouse does in one location under one roof, which is something they badly needed. They've gotten a lot of money from a lot of big-time folks. Stamilt was a major player in that, and others as well. I believe North Cascades National Bank helped them out. A bunch of folks pitching in to make sure that the Lighthouse can continue to do the good works that they do. They've been working on their new building, not far from their old headquarters, as a matter of fact, and they'll be able to put everything together, because right now they're kind of spread out a little bit. There are different areas around the Wenatchee Valley where they do their good works, but to consolidate almost all of their operations into one building is something they've been looking forward to do. And
they have something
Sean
coming
Arrington,
up on the 15th, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. So Sean Arrington and Bart Tilley will be on this show tomorrow, and other great guests all week long. Steve, you want to recap the news again while we have you here?
I think it stands to be repeated. Definitely, we have some big news this morning. As a matter of fact, first of all, more information on that body recovery that was made Friday along the banks of the Wenatchee River. An autopsy planned for later this week will determine the cause of death of a young Kashmir man whose body was discovered along the river bank last Friday afternoon. Chelan County Coroner Wayne Harris released the identification of that victim. His name, 19-year-old Sheldon S. House Jr. of Kashmir. He went missing back in May, and he had been the subject of an extensive search. In a news release issued Friday afternoon, Sheriff Brian Burnett reported House's body was recovered after a raptor spotted it near the 4700 block of Old Monitor Road. The deputies arrived in the area. They located the body in the river about 15 to 20 feet from shore. It was snagged on submerged logs. The body was recovered and then turned over to the Chelan County Coroner. Cause of death still to be determined. Fire crews make progress as milder weather conditions help containment efforts on the Little Camas fire in Chelan County over the weekend. Here's a shot from InsaWeb showing one of those tankers dropping a load retardant on fire. Managers say it's now 35% contained as an army of firefighters from the U.S. Forest Service and DNR overcomes steep, rocky terrain in the mountains about 6 miles southwest of Kashmir. It's been a busy weekend for the 344 firefighters who've made the Chelan County Fairgrounds their temporary home since that blaze was first reported Thursday afternoon. Quite a few firefighters and are all pitching tents there at the fairgrounds this week. The fire is burning in mostly logging / brush and timber stands on Weyerhaeuser land in the Sand Creek and Mission Creek drainages. InsaWeb provided us with this map of the fire area. The Camas Meadows Bible Camp and a few homes located about 2 miles from the camp, or from the fire rather, are now under a level 1 evacuation advisory. Today's weather, nearly a repeat of Sunday, with temps bumping up a few degrees and relative humidity getting closer to 20%. That's all good news. During the evening and overnight hours, a dry cold front was expected to pass over the fire, bringing westerly winds in excess of 25-mile-an-hour gusts through Tuesday late afternoon. Those same winds proved challenging for control efforts on the eastern flank of that fire a few days ago. More hot and dry conditions are expected later in the week. And this is a live shot from our Valley View Sky-Fi cam looking out over that fire area, I believe, and you can see the low-lying smoke and haze from that fire that's hugging the ground right now due to that inversion. So you can expect to see more of that throughout the day today, that drift smoke. Also from the weekend, 4 people injured in Chelan last Thursday evening when an out-of-control SUV struck a group of people in a lakeside patio area off Wooden Avenue. Before that vehicle then hurtled off an embankment and flipped over into a neighboring parking lot. Here's a photo shared with us by Lake Chelan Now of that accident scene. In fact, the Chelan County Sheriff's Office issued a news release describing what happened. Officials say the cause of the accident could be medically related. Sheriff Burnett says witnesses at the scene said the driver of a white SUV turned into the driveway at West Wooden Avenue and then drove at a high rate of speed through the patio area of the business and then struck 3 pedestrians who were there. The vehicle continued to accelerate, driving over the embankment across the top of an unoccupied parked vehicle, flipping over and coming to rest upside down against a parked vehicle. Here you can see that picture again. All the vehicles were totaled. The female driver of that car, which is upside down, had to be extricated from that car. She was badly injured and apparently was flown to Harborview Hospital. The other 3 people who were injured were taken to the local hospital in Chelan for treatment of their injuries. Also, a little note here from the Chelan-Douglas Health District. Another rabid bat was found in Chelan County. This one was found in downtown Wenatchee parking lot, prompting a public risk warning by the health district. They issued a news release Friday reporting the discovery of the diseased bat in the Morris Building parking lot at 23 South Wenatchee Avenue. Wenatchee Valley Animal Control delivered it to the health district, who turned it over to the Washington State lab for testing. It's reported that the Morris Building parking lot and its stairwell is often used by employees of the Morris Building, and it's unknown at this time if anyone or any pet came in touch with that rabid bat. That could be a problem if they did. So if you in that area and you want to learn more, just contact the Chelan-Douglas Health District. Again, that phone number is 886-6400. And finally, Lake Chelan playing host to the 2018 U.S. Open and the Canadian National Paragliding Championships. Here you can see the little aircraft flying high above Lake Chelan. Video footage of the event shared by Lake Chelan Now with NCW Live News. 131 pilots in all were registered to compete in that event, which runs through Saturday. The paragliders take off from Chelan Butte, and then they land at Chelan Falls Park Soccer Field. The event is a pre-World Cup qualifier, so you'll be treated to that little scene all week long, ending Saturday at Lake Chelan.
Quick traffic note as we get closer and closer to wrapping this show up. This is a big one, although it isn't evening work. It's going to be on for the rest of this month. Miller between Mission and Wenatchee Avenue. That's a very heavily stretched piece of roadway. We're talking where it meets up with Albertsons, and then you have Taco Bell and the Igloo and the mall and all that stuff. We're all familiar with that area, the Harley Center and all that stuff. Miller between Mission and Wenatchee Avenue, they're going to remove and replace about 550 feet of storm drain pipe that needs to go. It's not doing its job anymore. And since they're doing this project anyway, taking you all the way from Bridge Street to the Old Station Industrial area, they're redoing, 5 miles of Mission Street. They thought now is a good time to go ahead and tackle this little project. So from 9 o'clock in the evening till 7 o'clock in the morning, they're going to be the 2 northbound lanes of Miller are going to be diverted into southbound. So it'll be 1 lane of traffic northbound, 1 lane of traffic southbound from 9 p.m. to 7 a.m. On weeknights. And this project is supposed to take at least through the end of the month. But that's going to be kind of a difficult time.
Mostly evening work, folks.
Yeah, that's the whole idea. It is evening work. And why people still don't pay any attention to the no right-hand turn on red sign, I don't know. But they do.
They redid that whole intersection, and it needed to be done. It's much better than it used to be. It flows so much easier. You know what intersection I'm talking about, the Albertsons and the Harley Center. And when they first redid the whole thing, they put up signs, no right turn on red. Well, that didn't work. People were just, you know, old habits die hard. So they put 2 orange, you know, triangles next to it, you know, right below it to grab your attention. Hey, no right turn on red. Hasn't worked at all. It just, no right turn on red means no right turn on red. People
I'm always distracted by the guy that's trying to sell pizza, you know.
Yeah. I was running errands, and there was, in fact, right down the road from there, near that intersection, was a guy selling corn. I guess corn, and the guy had a big corn hat on, and he was jumping up and down and doing all that nonsense. Is it corn? Is it time for have corn already? Is it corn season?
A little early yet.
Okay.
Although I saw some corn, I think at one of the local stores, but the Quincy sweet corn, I think we're still about a month away on it.
Yeah, that's about as good as corn as it gets, isn't it?
Boy, is it ever.
It's one of the nice things about living here. It's not that we have a bounty of fruits and vegetables. We do. It's high quality stuff. Yeah. It's really good stuff. We grow the best cherries in the world. We grow the best apples in the world. We grow the best peaches and pears and apricots to be found almost anywhere. And then you get into the Columbia Basin where they're growing, you know, the corn and the peas
and the row crops and
and the waving wheat, which can smell sweet. Yeah, especially when the wind comes right behind the rain. I've heard that somewhere before. Let's do your forecast from the National Weather Service. That's what it looks like. Yesterday we had 88 degrees. Normal is about 85. So Sunday was a typical July day. Sunshine today, high of 91. So just a little bit warmer because we had a warmer start to the day. It's 67 degrees. No real wind today, but that's going to change tonight. The wind's going to pick up in intensity because a cold front is going to slide in. You notice mostly cloudy skies tonight. With an overnight low of 66, it's going to be breezy. Northwest wind pretty consistent, 11 to 18 miles an hour for the Wenatchee Valley. Tuesday, sunshine and only 83. That's the cold front we're talking about. Northwest wind around 15 miles an hour. Pretty consistent all day Tuesday into Tuesday night. The cold front will exit Tuesday night into early Wednesday, which still means we'll have some cold air trapped. You'll notice that overnight low 58 is chilly, Steve, for this time of year. And then we start the warming process again. Wednesday, sunshine, 90, no wind. Thursday, sunny. I think we can safely call 97 hot.
Yeah.
Is that safe? Yeah, 97 the high on Thursday, Friday 95, and then you know, lower 90s on Saturday and Sunday. Again, wind, no real wind today, but breezy tonight, breezy on Tuesday. Relative humidity is going to be around 20-25%. Of course, earlier in the morning, the higher the humidity is, and it dries out as the day progresses. So
city pool is going to be busy.
Yeah, they'll be busy. They'll be very busy because you couldn't swim this weekend at the city pool. I forgot. I was going to go do the free open swim.
Right,
they had the big
Bellow
velocity swim meet there, so it was like, oh, I'm sorry. I should have paid attention. So, 3 Mariner All-Stars. Edwin Diaz making his first trip ever. Mitch Haniger making his first trip ever. Nelson Cruz is making his 6th trip to the All-Star game, which is a week from tomorrow in Washington, D.C. We still think the Big Maple will make it. We hope so anyway.
Yeah,
he deserves.
Yeah, I think so.
You know, every year, you know, they have
throw a no-hitter, you think you'd get
Yeah, well, that's not necessarily, you know, a punch in your ticket.
It's no big deal anymore, huh?
What's that?
Pitching no-hitter is no big deal anymore?
Oh, no, it's a very big deal, but I can't remember the guy's. I just drew a blank. His very first major league start as a major leaguer, he threw a no-hitter, and then he threw 3 more games and was never seen again. So baseball's baseball.
Johnny Vandermeer.
It wasn't Johnny Vandermeer. But yeah, I think that, you know, I think Paxton has a decent shot of making it. Now, Gene Segura, you can vote him in. He's one of the final 5. Each league gets 5 last candidates to round the roster up to 32, and that's a fan vote. You can go to the Mariner website, or you can go to Major League Baseball's website, and you get a vote. You only get a vote once, but make the votes count. Scott Service says, vote for Gene. He deserves it. Segura himself said, I'm not going to campaign for it, but
I thought
he deserves
Gordon deserved it, right? The way he's been.
But I mean, again, you have a list. You can, you know, tick off dozens of players who deserve to make it on the All-Star game.
There are a number of Yankees that don't deserve to be there and should be just kicked off, I think.
What are you talking about? I have a feeling, although you mentioned that, I have a feeling Giancarlo Stanton is going to be the 5th one in, simply because he's a Yankee and they have more votes than anybody. Don't hate me. When I first started following the Yankees, they stunk. No, they weren't very good when I first started following them. I'm not a bandwagon guy. I've been a Yankee since I was 10.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you how old we are. Don't forget, tomorrow, Sean Arrington and Bart Tilley from the Lighthouse will be here. Looking forward to that conversation. Everybody have a great Monday. Street Talk with Mike and Mad Dog Magnotti live at 10 o'clock. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.